So this week I did a talk at Manchester University for some of the criminology students there on what makes a good blog post. As part of their course they've got to write a blog post for a race relations site. And I put it out there on Twitter that was what I was up to, and someone replied to say, I would love to know your top tips. So I thought it would be a great vlog for me to create this week. So this week's vlog is what makes a good blog post. So first of all, your blog post needs to appeal to your readership, which means you need to know who your readership are, who's going to be reading your blog, and what's going to make them want to read it as well. What's going to excite them, interest them, add value to them, impart knowledge on them. Who is your readership? And that should be your starting point of writing your blog post, knowing who is actually going to read it. Then you need a captivating title. So there are lots of different techniques you can use for your title. For example, you could use alliteration, where you have a similar letter use within the blog title. Now I've looked into kind of what makes the best length of blog title, and research has shown between 8 to 12 words is not only the best in terms of people reading it, but also for social media shares. It also gives you an opportunity to get quite a lot of detail in there. Remember, your blog title should make people want to read it, as it's the blog title that you're going to be sharing most through social media. So make sure it is captivating, make sure it is inspiring or exciting or even shocking, and it pulls people into the article. Next thing then is creating a blog post that's not too long but not too short, and that's quite difficult to do. Yeah, my kind of, there's all talk of the ideal length of blog post. I worry about that because then I think people throw in words just to hit a word count. So I think around 1600 words is meant to be the ideal perfect blog post. But you know what? If you do one on 300 words that really gets to the point, then so be it. If you do one on 2500 words and actually every single point matters to the people reading it, then do it. Don't focus too much on blog post length, but just realise that if it's too short, it's really just a social media update, it's not a blog post. So try and stick around the 1600 words where possible, but don't focus too heavily on it. I rarely write blog posts in 1600 words, I'll be honest. Okay, next point then is that it's an easy to read format. What I mean by that is it's not just continuous prose, it's split into paragraphs, into one-line sentences, and those one-line sentences can really help your blog post to stand out, and particular phrases that you want to stand out from your post. It should include things like lists, numbered lists, and bullet points to split up your blog post as well. Next thing then is use of imagery. So important to use imagery within blog posts. Every blog that you write should have some form of image attached. Particularly important that you have an image, because then when you share socially, that image can be used for social sharing as well. You can use stock photos. There are lots of free stock photos available on the internet. All you need to do is just Google free stock photos for blog posts or something along those lines. Create your own images is even better. If you use someone else's image on the internet that isn't a free stock photo, you need to credit the source. Next thing then, in terms of creating a good blog post, is that it's searchable. You think about search engine optimization and not just sharing social, but people finding your blog post through the likes of Google. So think about the keywords for your blog post. What are those keywords that you want people to search on Google and discover your blog posts from searching? So keywords and phrases. Then you can use keyword tools. For example, you could use Google's own keyword tool, which is in the AdWords section of Google, to find out the frequency of that keyword and other suggested keywords that might relate to that one. Then we've got including links to further resources. Great blog posts don't just focus on that particular blog post, they link elsewhere, whether within the same blog, so linking in the same site, or sending you to external resources. It should be a starting point really for you to carry on reading from. And then finally, in this very quick update on what makes a good blog post, is it should engage your audience throughout. So I think one of the best ways to engage your audience is to ask them questions, because that gets them thinking, makes them want to answer the question. Do that throughout the blog post, but also do it at the end, because when you ask a question at the end, that is going to then encourage them to comment at the end of your blog post. So make sure it's engaging, make sure you edit it after and take anything out that you think would disengage them, because an engaged audience is one that comes back and reads your blog post and shares your blog post and essentially becomes your community. So those are my very, very fast, quick tips for what makes a good blog post. That is an hour-and-a-half presentation brought down into 5 minutes. If you've got any questions or any more things that you would think should be added in there, then do please comment and let me know. And I'll see you next week with another blog.